lot. They can sleep anything up to 20 plus hours a day. There are a lot of wake-ups that are happening there. And you may find that you have no problem getting your newborn to sleep, probably going to happen whilst they're feeding, but then when you actually try to lay them down afterwards, they instantly wake up, either the second that you lay them down, as you're laying them down, or shortly after. This is really, really frustrating. You can spend your entire day trying to get your newborn back to sleep and actually get them laying down. I'm going to go through some of my favorite tips and tricks for actually helping your newborn remain asleep when you lay them down. Let's just get started straight away. So tip number 1 is wait until they have been asleep for about 10 minutes before you even try to lay them down. We want your child to be in a bit of a deeper sleep. As you move your child, you will bring them up into a lighter sleep. And so if you wait until they're in that little bit of a deeper sleep, they are less likely to fully wake if you have waited for that 10 minutes. And then as you do try to lay them down, do try and be fairly slow and stealthy. Are you holding your newborn still before you attempt to lay them down? You may be rocking your child to sleep, and there is nothing wrong with rocking a newborn to sleep. It's actually really hard to hold still when you've got a newborn in your arms and not rock. So rocking to sleep is completely fine. But if you are rocking and you have that motion and then suddenly you're laying your child down, it can be really hard for them to actually remain asleep because the movement has stopped. So spend the last 3, 4, 5 minutes of them getting into that 10 minutes of sleep of you holding them still. This will actually then help them get used to no movement, and it won't be so sudden as soon as you've laid them down. How are you holding your newborn to sleep? Chances are you're holding them against you and you have their tummy to your chest, and that's completely fine. But much like if we were suddenly stopping the movement, if we're suddenly now stopping and laying your child down on their back, because you must lay your newborn down on their back to sleep, it's going to feel so very different for them. They're not going to have that pressure against their tummy. Their tummy's going to suddenly be feeling cold, and now they're in a completely different position. They're more likely to wake up. So help your child down to sleep. Stop that rocking, stop that movement, and you can even then hold your child down so they're getting used to nothing against their tummy. Again, doing this a few minutes before you're going to lay them down, and then you may be more successful actually getting them into their bed. You may find actually raising the head end of their bed a little will help them to be a little bit more comfortable. Lots of newborns have reflux and may have some reflux issues, and actually being on a little bit of an incline can make them feel more comfortable. Now, you don't want this incline to be too much. 10 degrees or less is completely fine. So even just a little bit raised can make a huge, huge impact to how it is that they're sleeping. How cold is your child's bed? You've been holding them to sleep, they're nice and warm and snug, and suddenly if you're going to be laying them down onto a cold mattress, that can wake them up. You may want to try putting either a hot water bottle or a heat pad in the crib or in their bed before you lay them down. Now, you will want to make sure that you take this out before you attempt to lay your child down, and then check the temperature. You want to check that that mattress, that sheet is not too hot before you slowly lay your child down. Are you swaddling your child? Swaddling will really help them be able to not only fall asleep, but get from one sleep cycle to the next, but it can also make maneuvering them around a little bit easier to do. Now, if your child fights getting into the swaddle, don't panic. Lots and lots of newborns fight getting into the swaddle, and it doesn't mean that they won't like it or that they don't need it. You should still swaddle them up, but you'll just want to do that a little bit before you're planning on getting them down to sleep. Give them a couple of minutes to adjust to being in there so that they're not then fighting straight away as soon as you're trying to get them to sleep. You've had a little bit of time for them to calm down, and then you can work on helping them to sleep. Make sure that you burp your child before you are going to try and get them to sleep, and do so after you're feeding, and sometimes even midway with a feed as well. Child may be comfortable as they're up against you, and then when you lay them down, they've got a bubble of air in their tummy that can make them feel really uncomfortable and actually wake them. So spending that time burping them during the feed, after the feed, and even just a minute or two before you get started getting them ready for sleep can help you avoid that. You may find that a massage really helps your child to relax enough to be able to sleep and to be able to maneuver them down. If you're able to actually massage them in their bed, you never know, they may be so comfortable that they actually fall asleep there, and then you don't have to move them anywhere if they are already safely in their sleep space. If your child does fall asleep somewhere else during a massage, you want to make sure that they're going to stay warm, so get them dressed, make sure that they'll be warm, and then put them in a safe sleep space. If you've been helping your child to sleep, your child will be very used to the smell of you, and then getting into bed, that's going to smell very different. One thing that you can do is you can actually wear the sheet. So take the sheet off your child's bed, off their crib, off their cot, take it off the mattress, and you can either put that in your bed, or you can just even put it up your sweatshirt. Just put it against your skin for a little while, so that that's going to really smell of you. And then before you're going to get your child ready for sleep, you are going to pop that sheet on their mattress. Then that means that their bed is going to really smell of you, and that it's a smell that they love and they're really comfortable with. You may be able to lay them down on there. I'm sure you've heard about white noise, and white noise can be really helpful for helping newborns sleep. And did you know there are actually lots of colours of noise? White noise may not be very effective for your child, so check out some pink noise or even some brown noise. Trying different colours of noise, you may have something that your child prefers and is going to help them sleep a little easier. Try different light levels as you're trying to get your child down to sleep, and then once they're asleep, trying to lay them down. Now, there are some children, it really does depend on their sleep personality, but there are some children who will just wake up and they will be wide awake if it is bright. Now remember, your newborn does not know that they need to close their eyes in order to fall asleep. If they just fall asleep, but if they open their eyes up because you were moving them, there's something to look at, that's it, they're going to be wide awake. So you may actually find the really dark space is actually easier for them. Then you're blocking out all of that visual stimulation. You may be able to get them down. Alternatively, you may try in an incredibly dark room, but actually your child will prefer to have a little bit of light in the room. So do try with different levels of light in the room. Let's see if there's one that your child prefers. If your child wakes as soon as you lay them down, you may want to try laying them down a little differently. Try sitting them on their bottom and then laying them back. That may work a little easier. If you're trying to lay them down and you were dropping their heads down first, below the line of their body, that is going to startle them. The Moro reflex, you know, that startle, and that can wake them up. If you place them down with their legs and their bottom first, and then lower their head and back down, that can be much smoother and a much easier transition for them. Is your child tired enough? If they're not quite tired, they're going to struggle to fall asleep and remain asleep, meaning that they're more likely to wake up if you are trying to get them down, waking up at the slightest movement, wide awake. It can be exactly the same if they are overtired. You're going to struggle to help an overtired child to sleep, and then they will struggle more to remain asleep as well. That may be where laying them down is really hard to do. So if you feel that your child is undertired, have a little bit more awake time. You don't want it to be overly stimulating, because we don't want them getting overly stimulated whilst they're getting overtired, but just have an additional wake time. If you think that you have missed that awake window and your newborn is now overtired, it's okay not to lay them down. As long as you are holding them safely and you are remaining awake, it is okay for you to just hold them. Let's get them caught up on a little bit of sleep. And then for that next nap, hopefully they won't be so overtired and you'll then be able to lay them down successfully. And if all else fails, just keep trying. It's really frustrating when you can't lay your newborn down and you feel that you're not even getting a spare minute. I get it, I understand. But sometimes if your newborn just needs to be held, the best thing to do is, rather than fight it and keep trying to lay them down, waking them up, then getting them back down to sleep, laying them down and waking them up. Best thing to do is just to let them sleep on you as long as it is safe for them to do so. Holding them, letting them sleep there, getting them caught up on a little bit of sleep. And then next time, if they're not quite so overtired, you'll be more likely to be able to lay them down. So keep trying. And just remember that this too will pass. This is just a short stage. And very soon your child will be able to sleep so much more independently. I promise. Just hang in there. This is all going to change soon. Good luck, take care, and I will see you in the next mini masterclass.